So you got a bunch of plugins loaded up into your session, or your computer tends to lag just a little bit. But the point is, you got some latency. During recording, you have some latency, and you're always changing the buffer size to get it right, and then your session doesn't play. Well, today, I'm going to be showing you how you can record yourself without any latency. Zero. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up? My name is Kles from Y&I Recording Academy. Welcome back if you've been around here, and welcome if you're new around here. So, how do you accomplish such an amazing feat of getting no latency, highest buffer size, and being able to record seamlessly? What's the secret? So the secret actually is to not monitor your recording, whatever you're recording. So let's say you're recording this mic or condenser mic, whatever it may be. Don't monitor that recording device through your DAW, because through your DAW you have an option to get latency, because it goes into your computer, and by the time it comes out, that's what causes latency. And that's why we put our buffer size to be lower, because that's a lower amount of time that it takes to go into the computer and then back out to your ears, right? So if you put your buffer size all the way up to 1024, you're going to get over 1,000 milliseconds of latency, which is very, very noticeable in the headphones, especially while recording. So that's the first step. The first step is to not monitor through Pro Tools or your DAW. The second step is to set up a different monitoring source that has no latency. So some interfaces will actually have a direct knob or a mix knob or something like that, and some interfaces will actually even come with a software. So if you monitor directly through your interface, you are getting zero latency. So if you're hearing the microphone signal through your interface straight, not going into your DAW, then you're getting zero latency. So that's how to accomplish it. Don't monitor through your DAW, monitor through your actual direct device. Now, how does this work in practice? So the first problem is that if you want to monitor through your DAW, you have to find a way to enable that. There will be a knob sometimes where you can, monitor some things that are coming in directly through direct means directly through the interface, and then DAW or computer would mean through the computer. So there might be a knob that has a balance between them. There may be also a software like Focusrite Control or Console, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which is a UAD Apollo software. So even if you have that running, then you're still going to get signal through Pro Tools. So how do we make this go away? So you could just mute the track on Pro Tools when you're recording, but that's a little bit of a pain. So the next thing we have to do is to make sure that whenever we're recording, there's a setting in Pro Tools that tells Pro Tools to not monitor whatever we're recording, and it's called low latency monitoring mode. And you can find it in Pro Tools, you can find it in setup. You can find it in options. Go to low latency monitoring. And this will mean every time I hit record, you'll see that all my plugins go into bypass mode, and if I talk through the mic, you're not getting any signal through Pro Tools. You're only going to get signal if you're getting signal from somewhere else. Now, do note that low latency monitoring turns off during recording the delay compensation for that track. So if you have delay heavy effects like autotune and EQ and stuff like that, which right now I'll show you how much delay I'm getting. I'm getting over close to 5,000 milliseconds of latency. So if you do play back in low latency monitoring mode, then you will get that 5,000 milliseconds of latency. But during recording, you won't get anything. But if you do play back, just playing back without recording, you will get that latency. So it's something to keep in mind, because sometimes you're punch recording, so you're hearing the thing from before and it's going into the next thing, and the thing from before will be off time. One easy way to do this is just to deactivate all plugins while recording. So Command Control while pressing the plugins will deactivate them. That's the way to get rid of the playback latency when you're in low latency monitoring mode. So once we have that set up in Pro Tools, that means now when we're recording, we're not getting any signal through Pro Tools. So what signal are we getting? So for me, I have an Apollo, UAD Apollo X6. That's what my studio is running off of. And Apollo comes with a software called Console. And this console is basically an actual mixer. You should look at it as like a physical mixer in front of you. And if you unmute a track on that mixer, it will start playing through the speakers, similar to how an actual live sound system works. So if I unmute my channel 1, which is my main microphone over there, if I unmute it, now I'm getting direct signal routed through the Apollo. Okay, so that is going to be zero latency, because a mixer, again, in a gig, in a live setting, is just routing sound through it with zero latency. So that's basically what's happening here. It's just like a virtual mixer that controls the actual mixer inside the UAD Apollo. So now that I unmute it, I'm able to go ahead and now record my vocals and hear myself through console and not through Pro Tools, and I don't have to worry about latency at all. And the cool thing about console is that you can actually route your DAW to a fader over here. So let me show you what that looks like. The music, when I play the music, I have my DAW routed. I have my DAW routed to this fader, and then my microphone is routed to this fader. So basically, I use this entire console as my monitoring setup, my monitoring mix. So if I need to hear the music louder, I'll make the music louder. I won't have to touch it in Pro Tools. In Pro Tools, it will stay the way it is, the way it's supposed to be. If I need the music louder, I'll make the music louder. If I need the vocals louder, I'll make the vocals louder. But I'm not touching anything in Pro Tools, because this is just for monitoring purposes. So this is another great way of setting up a monitoring mix. And if you want me to go more in depth into console and Focusrite control and stuff like that, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to get to that if it's requested. So this is how I record with zero latency with my buffer size all the way up. Quick recap: in Pro Tools, you want to disable any monitoring sources that are monitoring the actual recording, the recording source. So this will mean activating low latency monitoring mode in Pro Tools, and then you have to just find out a way to monitor your sound through your interface directly, which by nature has zero latency. That's it. If you want my free home studio gear guide, it's down in the description. This has everything you need to upgrade your studio or start your home studio. All the links to every product and every single budget is free. Go download it, and till next time.